This is another in a series of my interactions with my higher selves. And in this one, I would like to share with you how I went through a process of learning about my emotions and my thoughts, what they are, where they come from, and what my responsibility was to be emotionally responsible and mindful, that is responsible for my thoughts. And so my higher self put me through a couple of exercises where he made me aware that I was not feeling my emotions. I was thinking my emotions. And what that meant was that sometimes when we have a response or reaction to something, we think that that is an emotion, but it's not. It's a conditioned response. It's a conditioned emotional response. So we're not really responding from ourselves, from our integrative selves, from our authentic selves. We have been conditioned to think a certain way and to think and to feel a certain way. And most of our responses are based on that conditioning. So I went through those processes of learning how to think and how to feel and what that energy was and how I could use that energy for my benefit and the benefit of others around me, for the benefit of the planet, and for the benefit of mankind generally. And after I'd been through those exercises, one day he pulled me aside and we were chatting, and I was thanking him for showing me how to be emotionally responsible again, how to begin to feel authentically what I feel, and to think authentically how I think, and to trust my feelings and trust my emotions. And that kind of led us into a new discussion where he had taught me that being authentically emotional and authentically mindful, it created potential energies. And potential energies not only means potential better energetic outcomes, but it would lift me into a different timeline. And then he introduced me to this new idea. And he said, to improve to go into higher probabilities, you have to go have different standards and values. And at that stage of my life, I had no idea what he was talking about. Standards and values, I had some idea of what it was, but I had nothing. So I said, well, what would you suggest? And he said to me that, how about we try this one? And I knew he was testing me, he was pushing me. And I said, okay, what do you want me to try? And he said, if you can adopt the standard that anything less than love is not acceptable to you, that will put you into a higher timeline of probability. And at that stage I thought, this is crazy, this is nuts, no one can have the standard like that, because I don't see anybody else around me doing that. I had no examples as a frame of reference that I could you know, could associate with or develop some kind of role model of what that meant. Anyway, I thought about it, and then I thought about, hang on, Aiazmir, everything about him in the time that I've known him, which is now about 3.5 years, was he had never shown me anything less than love. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this out. And so I did. And in the beginning, I was an abject failure at doing this, because I realized that I, in the past, had been associating with many people who would judge others, gossip, slander, defraud, other people by their words and their actions. And I was associating with these people. So it was very difficult for me to actually implement that. But I doggedly and determinedly decided that's what I was going to do. So gradually I began to watch not what other people were doing, but watch what I was doing. Because I was realizing that I am the one that has to raise my own standards. I can't rely on anybody else to have the standards that I want. It's only me. And I have to do that for myself. So I began to watch my speech and watch when I would say something which was judgmental, or unkind, or inconsiderate, or uncompassionate. And while watching my speech, I was horrified at how I had become accustomed to lower standards and values. And that I was easily drawn into agreeing with people about the gossip of others, or even judging others myself, or speaking badly about other people, or saying nasty things to people and about other people. And it was only when I adopted that standard of anything less than love is not acceptable to me, or from me, to you, or from you, that I began to really put myself onto a higher timeline of probability. And it was very, very difficult. But I'm glad I did that, because it made me aware of how much judgment there is of other people without any evidence. We are quick to judge, we are quick to condemn, and self-justify. Because the wonderful thing about the hypnotic effect of the satanic kind of system that we live in is that we feel justified by condemning someone else. That puts us higher on the pedestal. So all this finger pointing that goes out there seems to lift us up into a higher pedestal. So we don't take up the challenge of lifting ourselves internally to a higher pedestal. where we won't speak evil of others, we won't judge others, we won't entertain others who judge others, we won't entertain others who condemn others. We will stay in a position where all I am responsible for is my own responses. And in my own responses, the only way that I will respond is in love. And that was a great lesson. And, I've implemented that over the years, and people think I'm crazy because, I don't easily involve myself in condemnation of other people or other races or other genders or other, cultural groups or political parties or, religions. Everyone has a right to be. And if all those people would accept that they have to establish that standard individually for themselves, that anything less than love is not acceptable, we'll keep biting each other's, biting each other in the arse, and never getting us out of this morass of the system that we live in. So that was a challenge for me, and I present it to you, and perhaps you can think about it and decide for yourself if you want to accept that challenge. Because it will actually teach you so much about yourself that you never knew before. And allow yourself to become this loving, kind, gentle, peaceful person that you've always hoped to be, but didn't know how to get there. So you can lift yourself onto a timeline of higher probability. And the whole ascension process is about lifting yourself into higher timelines. In a sense, that's what it's all about. So I leave you with that. Much love, respect you all. God bless. Bye.